Paul Di'Anno, the former lead vocalist of the legendary heavy metal band Iron Maiden, has tragically passed away at the age of 66. His death was confirmed in a heartfelt statement released by his record label, Conquest Music, which expressed deep sorrow over the loss of a man who had not only left an indelible mark on the music world, but also had an enduring connection with his devoted fans. Di'Anno, whose real name was Paul Andrews, was found dead at his home in Salisbury, England. The rock world is now mourning the loss of a figure who, despite numerous challenges throughout his life and career, remained an influential force in heavy metal. Born on May 17, 1958, in Chingford, East London, Paul Di'Anno came from humble beginnings, yet he would go on to achieve fame as the original frontman for Iron Maiden, one of the most iconic and influential bands in the history of heavy metal. Di'Anno's time with the band was relatively short, but it was marked by significant contributions that helped shape their early sound and image. He joined Iron Maiden in 1978, taking on the role of lead vocalist during a critical phase in the band's development. At the time, Iron Maiden was a rising force in the London heavy metal scene, and Di'Anno's raw, aggressive vocal style was perfectly suited to their fast-paced, gritty sound. Di'Anno's vocals were instrumental in the success of Iron Maiden's first two albums, Iron Maiden, 1980, and Killers, 1981, which are now regarded as classics of the heavy metal genre. His voice brought an energy and edge that perfectly complemented the band's innovative twin guitar harmonies and galloping rhythms. Some of the most iconic tracks from this era include Phantom of the Opera, Wrathchild, and Running Free, all of which showcased Di'Anno's powerful, raspy delivery. His gritty vocals, combined with Iron Maiden's dynamic instrumental arrangements, helped establish the band as a dominant force in the burgeoning new wave of British heavy metal, NWOBHM movement. The Iron Maiden album, released in April 1980, was a groundbreaking debut that captured the attention of both fans and critics alike. It reached number 4 on the UK Albums Chart and was hailed for its ferocious energy and unapologetically heavy sound. The album's raw production and aggressive songwriting stood in stark contrast to much of the rock music that was popular at the time, offering a glimpse into the future of heavy metal. Tracks like Phantom of the Opera and Iron Maiden quickly became fan favorites, and Di'Anno's intense stage presence helped solidify his status as one of the most charismatic frontmen in metal. Following the success of their debut album, Iron Maiden released Killers in 1981, which further cemented their place in the pantheon of heavy metal greats. Produced by Martin Birch, who would go on to work with the band on many of their subsequent releases, Killers was a more polished and ambitious record that showcased Iron Maiden's evolving musicianship. Di'Anno's vocals on this album were just as powerful as ever, and songs like Wrathchild and Purgatory highlighted his ability to convey both aggression and melody. However, despite the band's growing success, Di'Anno's time with Iron Maiden was drawing to a close. By the time Killers was released, tensions within the band had begun to surface. Di'Anno was struggling with the pressures of fame and had developed a reputation for being unreliable, largely due to his issues with alcohol and drugs. His wild lifestyle began to take its toll, and it became increasingly difficult for the band to continue with him as their frontman. In September 1981, Di'Anno parted ways with Iron Maiden, marking the end of an era for both him and the band. While Iron Maiden would go on to achieve even greater success with their new vocalist, Bruce Dickinson, Di'Anno's contributions to their early years would never be forgotten. Following his departure from Iron Maiden, Di'Anno embarked on a solo career and became involved in several other musical projects. He formed the band Battlezone in 1985, a heavy metal group that allowed him to continue exploring his passion for the genre. Battlezone released several albums, including Fighting Back, 1986, and Children of Madness, 1987, and enjoyed moderate success in the UK and Europe. Despite numerous lineup changes and internal conflicts, Di'Anno managed to keep the band active for several years before disbanding them in the early 1990s. In addition to Battlezone, Di'Anno also fronted the band Killers, a project that he founded in the early 1990s. Killers, named after Iron Maiden's second album, released 2 studio albums, Murder One, 1992, and Menace to Society, 1994. While Killers never achieved the same level of success as Iron Maiden, the band maintained a loyal following, and Di'Anno continued to perform live with them throughout the 1990s and early 2000s. His connection to his Iron Maiden days remained strong, and he would frequently perform songs from his time with the band during his solo shows. Over the years, Di'Anno collaborated with a variety of other musicians and bands, further cementing his reputation as a versatile and talented vocalist. In 1985, he was part of the short-lived heavy metal supergroup Gogmagog, which featured members of Def Leppard and Whitesnake. Although the group only released 1 EP, I Will Be There, Di'Anno's involvement helped keep his name in the spotlight. He also worked with the band Praying Mantis from 1989 to 1990, contributing vocals to their Live at Last album. Despite these various projects, Di'Anno's career was often overshadowed by personal struggles and health issues. In the early 2010s, he faced legal trouble in the UK after being convicted of benefit fraud. He was sentenced to 9 months in prison, but was released after serving 2 months. His health also began to decline during this period, with Di'Anno suffering from knee problems that eventually required multiple surgeries. By 2016, his health had deteriorated to the point where he had to perform in a wheelchair during live shows. Even as his physical condition worsened, Di'Anno's passion for music remained undiminished. He continued to tour and release music, defying the odds and demonstrating remarkable resilience. His latest project, Warhorse, saw him return to his heavy metal roots, and he remained active in the music scene until his death. Di'Anno's final years were marked by a renewed commitment to his fans, with Conquest Music noting that he had performed over 100 shows since 2023, despite the significant physical challenges he faced. In the official statement from Conquest Music, the label described Di'Anno's career as long and eventful, highlighting the many ups and downs he experienced throughout his decades in the industry. They praised his dedication to his craft and his unwavering connection with his audience, noting that he had continued to perform and release music even when faced with tremendous adversity. The statement also expressed the profound sense of loss felt by Di'Anno's family, friends, and fans, who had followed his career through its many twists and turns. Paul Di'Anno's death marks the end of a chapter in heavy metal history. As the original voice of Iron Maiden, he helped lay the foundation for a band that would go on to become one of the most successful and influential in the genre. His contributions to the early days of Iron Maiden are immortalized in the music that continues to inspire generations of fans and musicians alike. Although his time with the band was relatively brief, the impact he made during those formative years cannot be overstated. Beyond his work with Iron Maiden, Di'Anno's career was a testament to his passion for heavy metal and his commitment to his fans. Whether fronting Battlezone, Killers, or any of the other projects he was involved in, Di'Anno remained a beloved figure in the metal community. His raw, rebellious energy and unmistakable voice left an indelible mark on the genre, and his legacy will continue to be celebrated by fans around the world. As the music world mourns the loss of Paul Di'Anno, his contributions to the heavy metal genre will undoubtedly live on. His distinctive voice and the iconic tracks he helped create during his time with Iron Maiden will remain a vital part of the band's history. Though he is no longer with us, Di'Anno's influence on heavy metal will endure, reminding us of the power of music to transcend time and the indomitable spirit of those who create it.